Hello mate and welcome back. This is my second reaction video and I have picked a topic which is sure to get me in trouble. So if you never see me again, at least try and remember my face. Like, at least pretend that you cared. So this video is from Jubilee and it is about should people be allowed to go shirtless in public or free the nipple? Pro versus anti free the nipple. So seems like a really first world problem to have a debate about, doesn't it? But let's without further ado, let's jump right in and see what happens.
Step forward if you agree. Nobody should be allowed to be shirtless in public.
Oh, that's handy. They're both on the same side already. That makes sense.
I don't like telling people what to do, but
I don't believe you, to be quite honest. People who go on these kind of trash TV shows generally are there because they want to say something. They're keen to tell people what to do. And I have noticed, and I don't want to sound like I'm being a dick when I say this, but I have noticed that the body type of the two people who stepped forward and the body types of the three people who remain standing, I shall say no more about that one.
I don't think it's necessary for anyone to be shirtless in public. I think there's a time and place for when you take off your clothes. In public, just out of respect for other people. Like, I don't want to see a guy shirtless.
Yeah, no, I agree. I remember, like, I would sometimes walk to school growing up and, like, all the track people would be running and the guys...
It's hot when you exercise. I'm guessing, based on the body type of these two women, that they probably aren't familiar with that concept. But when you exercise, you get hot. I am aware of the reality of that fact that it would probably cause more of a reaction. But that's a cultural thing, not really a moral thing. I do agree, however, that people being topless or shirtless in public is unnecessary. But it's, as far as I'm concerned, it's up to you. If you want to get your boobies out in public, crack on and do it.
I would always be running with the shirt off, and I would get so annoyed. Like,
what a silly thing to get annoyed about. Seriously, a guy running around with his shirt off. Let's all get angry about it.
Point in someone just walking around without their shirt or going into a store without their shirt, a guy or a girl.
Let's see if there's a fight.
I mean, like, I don't think there's a need to go topless at any point. I think it's just more about, like, convenience, especially if it's, like, really hot out. Like, I don't really want to be wearing a shirt, especially, like, in New York where I live. It's really, like, humid and stuff. I don't know. Sure.
Here's a tip for everybody, really. If you're going to get into a debate, think about what you want to say. Think about it again. Try and remove words like from your vocabulary and form a coherent sentence without doing that. It makes you sound a lot less like you're talking bollocks. Not a great opening gambit from the disagreeers.
Kind of uncomfortable in that context.
Like, a man walking around shirtless in a grocery store is going to be weird regardless, and I think a woman doing that would be weird as well. But if a man goes with a shirt off on a beach and a woman were to do that, I think that should both be fine.
The context does matter, but as a whole, even if we do change society to be more free in that aspect, the core of these issues isn't going to change because, like in other countries, when they,
So I hear what she's saying. I understand the point she's trying to make. She's trying to get her beliefs across in a way that makes her sound intelligent. Babies suck on those things for probably the first, I don't know, I'm not a mother, but, probably the first at least year of their lives. Babies are attached to those things, so they can't be that bad.
They have a different mindset than we do, and the issues are still prevalent. Like, the core of, like, how...
So her argument for not supporting the idea of her own culture being okay with nipples is that other cultures aren't okay with it.
Humans are or can be doesn't really change whether or not you allow people to be free.
Just looking at the dude in the shirt. Him being the only guy there is a bit awkward for him, I'm sure. But you can see the look on his face right there. He's not loving. He's not really keen to hear anything she's got to say. As far as he's concerned, he's right, and you can see the look on the other two disagreeers' face as well. I mean, the girl in the brown has yet to kind of pipe up and say anything, but you can see the look on their faces that nobody, not even the girl that she's supposedly in league with, are giving her any positive reinforcement at all. You can tell that they're just like, what are you talking about? Get on with it.
It will. I absolutely believe that it will. And I think it's a very simple matter of obliterating misogynists, and that's not just men.
So, okay, this went a direction I didn't expect it to go in. Misogyny is a word that gets thrown around all the time, and it drives me mad because most of the time what people call misogyny isn't misogyny.
But women who uphold misogyny, which comes from concern.
Look, you see the dude's face there? He was thinking exactly the same thing as I am. He's just like, what are you on about?
Like, what makes you think that having that freedom is the answer?
Abrahamic religions have so much influence over the way we all have grown.
Oh wow, so now she's going after religious people. So she went in with misogyny and now she's going in against religion. I'm kind of curious as to when she's going to bring race into this, because that's sort of the next logical step, isn't it, for people who use these this rationale for their decision making. But I'm actually on her side of this argument as well, so this is quite we'll see.
Things in my upbringing that came from my parents raising them that trickled down into my raising my kids that is harmful, absolutely harmful and disgusting and pathetic.
She went in hard on religious people there. So yeah, that's a you know, it's interesting trying to debate someone like that because she's clearly had time to think about this, whereas the others are kind of winging it. You can tell that there's a lot of discomfort in that conversation as soon as she went into the misogyny conversation, and then she went after religion as well. It was just like everyone else was just like, what?
Breasts are inherently sexual.
Breasts are inherently sexual if the whole entire body is inherently sexual. A shoulder, the tip of a nose, even eyelashes.
I don't really know how to respond to that, to be honest. That's a difficult... Yeah, I suppose you could make the argument one way that the entire body is I mean, we are human beings, are inherently a sexual animal. Kind of worried about what she's going to say next, to be honest.
Everything can become erogenous.
I totally agree with you of everything you said, but
There's always a but. No pun intended.
I think inherently they're not sexual.
Well, that's not agreeing with what she just said. She literally just said every part of the human body is inherently sexual. If you don't agree with that statement, you're not agreeing with what she's saying.
Do doula work, and so I care deeply about women's bodies and the nature of child rearing and childbirth. Like when we're born, hopefully people don't sexualize babies, and actually when I work with parents,
Just see him just smile like, yeah. You can't. It's hard not to agree with that. That yes, people don't sexualize babies. My immediate instinct is to try and protect that child, as in to stop them from hurting themselves. Then they start crying, and my immediate instinct is to get out of there before my head implodes.
that they don't objectify their child. I'm like, this is your child. They're not your mini-me. They're not yours to play with. They're not your doll. They're not your toy. They're their own person.
She has hit on a good point there. The amount of Hollywood celebrities are absolutely horrendous at this, but there are a number of people, certainly on like my Instagram, oh my god. So yeah, there are a lot of Hollywood celebrities who treat their children like fashion accessories, or it's like a way to boost your career is to have a baby and post loads of pictures about that and show the world what a great parent you are, whilst simultaneously exploiting your child. Yeah.
And we should treat them with respect. I just don't think that inherently bodies are supposed to be sexualized. It's society and people who have sexualized the body.
So I just can't imagine like not being able to wear a sports bra when playing soccer. Like I just feel like that'll just cause a lot of discomfort. When it comes to like running and stuff, I feel like it would be harder to do those things without a sports bra.
Oh yeah,
like,
because
you
you're
know.
bounce.
I don't think she understands what sexual means. She's correct. I would imagine that having a couple of bags of flat, fatty flesh bouncing around on the front of you while you're trying to run up and down a football pitch, probably going to be quite uncomfortable, and wearing a sports bra is a good thing. So I'm not sure where that ties into whether or not breasts are inherently sexual. Maybe I should listen to the rest of what she's got to say and then decide if she's an idiot or not.
Everywhere, but still,
Do you mind if I say something? I think that the answer isn't
Shut up, everybody. She wants to say something. She's been really quiet up till now.
Freeing the nipple and just letting everyone be liberated, I think the answer is that in your home, teach your child how to respect someone's body.
I guess more as appearance-wise, if we're talking free the nipple, I don't see the difference. I mean, I'll be candid, I've seen both male and female nipples before in my
Really? Wow. That seems an odd thing to brag about, let's be honest. He's seen both male and female nipples before.
life, and I couldn't really tell a difference.
I will say on that though, I'm a transgender woman, so
The danger of getting myself cancelled, it was fairly obvious that you didn't need to explain that. You can tell. The guy's comment that he can't tell the difference between male or female nipples, I don't know if he's trying to be progressive and that's the way he's coming across, but it kind of seems a bit of an odd thing to say. Like, there are very obvious differences between male and female nipples. It's like people who say they can't see colour, isn't it? It's like, I can't see colour. Piss off, you can't see colour. If a guy walks past me and he's got black skin, I can see that he's a black man. That doesn't mean that I'm judging his worth based on that. But people who say I don't see colour and people who say, oh, I can't see any difference between men and women is just, well, it's an idiotic thing to say because there are very clear differences between the two.
when I started transitioning, my nipples changed a lot. They became a lot more puffy, they became bigger, bigger areolas, and they became a lot more sensitive. I think part of the sexualization of female nipples is because of that it's like an erogenous zone as well. That's like one aspect of it.
Right.
So I will say like there are a bit.
I'm glad that she explained that to the guy because he does seem to be struggling with the differences between male and female nipples. And ironically, it took a transgender woman to explain the differences to him, which I find hilarious and I don't know why. And I do apologize.
I think that women's bodies are really sacred, and I don't feel like I need to take off my shirt to feel like equal to a man, a biological male.
But I think it goes beyond even.
Why did you feel the need to clarify a biological man? I feel like that was a bit of a dig at the transgender girl. Again, I don't think she entirely understands why she's there because all of her arguments don't seem to tally up with what the rest of them are talking about. She's basically now saying that she feels that women have to take their tops off to compete with men in some way. That's not what this is about. All we're saying is that men and women should have the freedom to take their top off if they so choose, without it being classed as a crime, or B, something for other people to get bitchy about.
Will lead to more sexual attacks against women.
Ooh, this is going to be a dicey one. This is very tricky. We already know there are dudes out there who can't control themselves when women are walking around fully clothed.
I hesitate a lot because I think part of this movement for me is to change that culture and to change the desexualization of the bodies. I've been like harassed, been masturbated at, been like assaulted in other contexts.
Who does this kind of thing? Who sees a female walking along the street and just pulls the old boy out and starts pulling his pudding? Seriously, like, I'm genuinely interested to know what kind of human being does that.
I was yelled at for breastfeeding also.
I don't understand why that's anybody else's business, to be honest. If a woman chooses to feed her child in public, the fact that people find it offensive in any way genuinely boggles my mind. It's like, what is wrong with people? Seriously, come on guys, it's the 21st century.
I disagreed because if a regular person is walking by and a woman's topless, I don't think that someone who is not intending to do that, I don't think they're going to just change their mind and go and attack someone.
Kind of goes back to the point I was saying. Finally, she said something that I can get on board with and actually makes sense to me.
But I just thought about all the women who have been assaulted, who've been like fully clothed.
We can't really say that anything more is going to happen because I think no matter what rules are in place, people are still going to be really horrible.
She seems to be missing the point of this debate somewhat as well. She seems to be fixating on the human body being sacred and how no one's ever going to get past the sexual nature of the human body, and thus people are never going to respect each other. Alright guys, I'm going to end that one here. I think that we've dragged this on for quite long enough. Thanks ever so much for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I hope you found that entertaining, and I will see you in the next one. But until then, you take damn good care of yourselves, alright? Bye bye.